Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with the third review in the Goosebumps challenge. This time I decided to reread Why I'm Afraid of Bees. Why I'm Afraid of Bees is Goosebumps book number 17 out of the original 62. As a kid, this one, for whatever reason, just didn't entice me. The cover is cool enough, but I just wasn't blown away by it. If I'm being honest, it was the awesome covers that drew me to the Goosebumps books, and this one just wasn't one of my favorites. As a matter of fact, I didn't own this one for a very long time. I ended up going back and getting it to complete the collection. To clarify, I used to buy the Goosebumps books out of order, based on the covers. The tagline for Why I'm Afraid of Bees is, "He's no ordinary human being." Cheesy, but clever. Still, I was never that excited about this book. I always preferred other Goosebumps, much, much more. I did finally read it, and I wasn't impressed. It just wasn't a favorite. That, of course, was back in the 90s. A few years ago, when I started getting nostalgic about Goosebumps books again, this one came up often. It turns out Why I'm Afraid of Bees has sort of gained cult status over the years when it comes to Goosebumps. Apparently, it has a huge cult following of readers who actually consider it to be the best Goosebumps book ever written. Initially, this surprised me. I had no idea how that could be the case. And so, after all those years, I decided to read it again. Well, when I did, I found a whole new appreciation for it. I loved it. And that's why I couldn't wait to reread this one for this challenge. Part of me wanted to put it off to build more anticipation. But here we are, at only review number 3 in the Goosebumps challenge, and I reread Why I'm Afraid of Bees. The story revolves around 12-year-old Gary Lutz, who many people call Lutz the Klutz. He doesn't have a lot of friends. He's clumsy, weak, and lonely. Even his 9-year-old sister Chrissy is stronger than him. Gary is also afraid of a lot of things, including Chrissy's cat, Claus. He's also afraid of bees. Gary's next-door neighbor, Mr. Andretti, is a beekeeper. And Gary can hardly deal with the sound of constant buzzing. Mr. Andretti teases, makes fun of, and laughs at Gary. And so do the kids that go to Gary's school. That includes 3 bullies who constantly beat him up. Even Gary's own family laughs at him. He just can't catch a break. And so when Gary comes across a computer ad for person-to-person vacations, it piques his interest. He visits the nearby company office and learns they have developed a way for humans to swap bodies. The people get to keep their own minds in their new bodies. They'll still be aware of who they are in their new bodies, but those around them will have no idea. Tired of being Lutz the Klutz, Gary decides he wants nothing more than to live someone else's life for a while. And so he agrees to take part in a person-to-person vacation. Something goes wrong in the process, though, when one of Mr. Andretti's bees swarms in. Instead of swapping bodies with another boy his age, Gary swaps bodies with a bee. Gary is completely aware. His mind is his own. But no one can hear his cries for help. He's trapped in the body of one of the things he fears most, a buzzing bee. If Monster Blood was like the Blob, and Beware the Snowman was like Jack Frost, Why I'm Afraid of Bees is obviously like The Fly when it comes to horror movies. It's the same concept, in a way. Oddly, although it might not seem like it, there is something really scary about this book. Gary, who has had such bad luck as it is now trapped as a bee. It seems like an impossible and inescapable situation. He needs to learn how to adjust his eyes to see as a bee. He needs to learn how to fly and control his flight pattern. He needs to learn what and how to eat. And he needs to remember not to use his stinger in fear of dying. All the while, he has to find some way to get back into his original body. Reading the book, you really feel for the character of Gary Lutz. He might be one of the most pathetic Goosebumps protagonists. I don't mean that in an insulting way either. You really feel bad for him. The chapters of Gary lost in the beehives are awesome. It's basically a maze, and he's surrounded by other bees. There's another scary twist later on in the book, which I contemplated discussing, but I won't spoil it. Things just continue to get worse and worse and worse for Gary. This also might inadvertently be one of the most educational Goosebumps books, as I now know more about bees than I ever did. This is a great Goosebumps book, and I can understand why so many people love it. Have you read Why I'm Afraid of Bees? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. What will I reread and review next for the Goosebumps Challenge? Check back soon to find out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.